On today's episode, we are going to take a look at a brand new IPO that is set to go public today. This one is hitting the online educational platform in a market that I believe will continue to grow, and is one that I personally used and enjoy. Like always, on today's episode, we're going to try to understand what they do, we're going to look at their fundamentals, and I'm going to share my overall opinions. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and follow me on Twitch where I live stream, taking a look at stocks you want me to look at. So let's get started. But before we begin, let's take a listen to today's sponsor. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. The Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you'd like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the Stock Advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. Alright, so the company we are going to take a look at today is Coursera. Like I'm saying, these are a huge player in the online education. They already have some great partnerships with some big universities and companies. For example, Illinois, Duke University, Stanford, even Penn State, Michigan State as well, and companies like Google and IBM. So in Coursera, you are able to do multiple things. Maybe you just want to learn about a specific subject. You only take a course. They have over 5,100 courses and specializations at the moment. Maybe you want to be a little bit more advanced in that subject, but not to a full degree. You can take certificates which are multiple courses, all focused in one course or in one type of product, and you can get a certificate being backed up by Coursera or some of those universities. Finally, you can even do online degree through Coursera. If we take a look, right, let's take a look at a computer science degree. You can do your bachelor's degree from the University of London. This is about a 3 to 6 year program, or you can even do a master's degree by some big universities. Look, Penn Engineering. You can do your master's program there, which takes about 16 to 40 months. There are some applications, right? It's almost like applying online, but the great thing is they do offer at a better price, and they also offer being backed up by some of these great universities. Now let's take a closer look at their IPO. This is going to go public at $33 per share. Initially, they said it was going to be somewhere between 30 and 33. I'm happy they didn't jump, even though they're in the top range, they didn't jump up. I know there were a few IPOs last year, at the end of last year, they give you a range, and a day before that range, they would increase that price dramatically. And that's not what's happening here. Coursera, 33 is their offering price, and it's going to go public today. And the ticker is going to be COUR. With this IPO price, the stock is going to be valued at about $4.3 billion, and it is raising about $520 million. That is pretty impressive. They're going to have a pretty strong balance sheet. So that's something I have to keep in mind of, right? They're going to have plenty of cash at hand to be able to continue to run their everyday business. One other thing that Coursera offers that many people don't know about is Coursera Plus. And this is like the Netflix of education. Right here, what you pretty much do is you pay a yearly subscription of about $400 a month, and you're able to use all over 3,000 plus of their courses, guided projects, specializations, and even professional certificates. I think that's a really great bang for your buck. All right, so now that we understand what Coursera does, let's really look at that revenue breakdown. So right now for 2020, they had total revenue of $293 million. Now let's see how much of a price to sales ratio that would be with the current IPO price of 4.3. So that would be a price to sales ratio of about 14.7. Not gonna lie, that's actually, in my opinion, pretty low based on how some of these IPOs have been coming out. They've been coming out with price to sales ratio over 20. And look, it is also a fast grower. In 2020, it grew 59%. Obviously, COVID would have kind of accelerated that growth, but even pre-COVID on 2019, it grew its revenue 30%, and it grew in 2018, it grew 48%. So it's been a heavy growth stock, and I believe it will continue as this online education marketplace is gonna continue to grow. right? Even for me, I'm outside of school and I still try to take online courses. Coursera is one of the few places I normally go to right off the bat to see if they have the course I want to take. And now let's take a deeper look at that revenue breakdown, right? They have three main segments. They have the consumer. This is you and I when we go take some of their courses online, when we do some of their specializations, and that makes up a good portion of this total revenue. It's about 192 million out of that 293, and that saw a 59% growth this past year. Previously, it's been growing at modest level. In 2019, it grew 13%. In 2018, it grew 26%. So not some crazy growth, except this year, again, mainly because of COVID situation, I would say. But now as online education is becoming more and more known, I do believe this growth will kind of not stay at these levels, but will give you a little bit better than modest growth. Now, the second major revenue is this enterprise revenue. That's about $71 million of that 293, and that grew 47% this year. It grew 80% year before, and the year before that, it grew 261%. So enterprise revenue, this is, let's say you work at a business, and that business has partnerships with Coursera that they offer courses to your employees. And they have some big companies, right? They have P&G, they have Airbus, they have Tata, right? Which is a big company, L'Oreal as well. So we can see they have a great list of businesses as their customers. The final major revenue is degree revenue. And these degree revenue it's like we saw, if you want to do a full degree program for them, that's actually $29 million. So it's the smallest of the bunch, but it grew 97% this year. The year before that, it grew 104%, and the year before that, it grew 191%. So it seems like more people and more are going and pushing into this online degree platform. Remember, most of these online degrees are being backed up by some big universities. All right, so now that we know what this company does, the type of products and some pricing and revenue growth, let's take a closer look at that income statement. Right now, the company, we saw that strong revenue growth, and they are very strong in gross profits. Out of that 293 million, gross profits are about 154 million, right? This is an online education, so I would expect margins to be higher. At the same time, they're also working with these universities, so I'm expecting they to take some form of cut behind it as well. After that, unfortunately, we can see one of the bad things about Coursera is they're not profitable at the moment. They lost about $66 million this year in 2020. A good portion of that reason is they're spending so much money on sales and marketing at the moment. But as seeing that strong growth, seeing the market they're in, I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing that sales marketing so they can grow more of this market share and become the overall monster in this market. And this negative in earnings doesn't affect me much because we saw they're raising a nice amount of cash via this IPO. Now I want to take a closer look at some margins. First, let's start off with adjusted EBITDA. We can see, right, they are negative still, even when looking at adjusted EBITDA, but those margins are getting better. In 2017, they were losing about 39%, and now they're only losing about 14%. So it's getting better, right, where it seemed like there's probably profitability within the next 2 to 3 years, which is something I would expect. The other thing that I don't like is they're not positive in free cash flow from operations. They burned about $26 million in free cash flow this year, about $27 million in 2020. But remember, they are raising about $500 million from this IPO. So again, this is not a company I would be worried about going under anytime soon. And I do believe they can pursue what they're doing at the moment. So I know this was a quick video on Coursera, but the company is very easy to understand. We saw what they do, we saw what kind of markets they're doing, and why I would be excited to join this company. A quick recap, right? Unfortunately, the company is not profitable and they are not positive in cash flow from operations. But because of the money they are raising from this IPO, it allows me to overlook that. The great thing, it is growing at strong revenues. I believe the valuation, right, almost a 15 price to sales ratio on current values, and growing at double digits is pretty cheap, if I may say so. But again, at the moment, I'm just really focused on certain stocks, so I have no intentions of buying right now, but that can change. That can always change, right? I'm always looking to improve my overall investing styles. If I was to enter in Coursera, it would either be a high tier 3 or a tier 2 stock. It would never be a tier T1 at the moment, but overall the educational market is one that is very, very bullish, and a lot of big players are bullish. So let me know, what are your thoughts on Coursera? Are you planning on buying on this IPO? Make sure to follow me on Twitch, guys, where I'm going to be live streaming. So take care, guys. Have a good night and see you next time.